What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 21 Ultimate Team video. The day has finally come, the day of the free 50 card. We've been grinding out solos for 7 straight weeks. I think it's been 7 weeks, and we have finally hit the point where we get to earn a free 50 card of our choice. One of the biggest questions we had coming into today, would it be a full fantasy pack where you get to pick whatever card you want? And indeed it is. So we did complete the solos. Now there was a little bit of a hiccup going on, so if you played your solos earlier, guys, and you finished them and you just got like a 25k or a 50k, not even that, I was being way too generous from EA. If you got a 50 coin, I think it was 50 or 25 coin reward, and you didn't get your free 50 pack, go back and just play a random solo and it should trigger the reward pack. There was a problem with it. It's just now fixed at about 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, I would say. So how do you get this one? Because some people still out there don't know that you can get this. People continue to tweet me like, how are you doing this? This is something I've been mentioning in pretty much every video since the 50 has come out. So you go to your weekly 50 challenge, right? You go to milestones and you can see we're all the way down here at tier number 8, and it's going to give you a Nat stacked player weeks 1 through 7. So stacked player means a full card, 91, 92, and we got a couple 93s this week. We didn't put out a video on this week's cards, but you'll see them in a moment here. And I'm going to open this pack, and I'm not really going to like rank them 1 through whatever. I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas on why you might want to pick each player, and I think everybody's team could be unique enough to the point where you might just take my advice based off of your roster and your needs and what holes you might need to fill on your team. But anyway, you get to tier 8, you're going to get this pack, which we'll take a look at in a moment. The good thing about these is if you've been missing weeks or whatever, they don't expire. So you can actually go back and still play all of these today if you haven't done any of them. So that's a good thing. We are on the no money spent account. We did this on our main account as well. I'm 1 solo away. I didn't play the last solo because of the bug that was going on. So we get to add a really, really good card to our no money spent squad. And this is the type of promo, you know, the type of solo reward that we absolutely love as no money spent players. So here's the pack, Nat week 1 through 7 stacked player fantasy pack. Everybody that came out during this promo so far is in this pack. And I didn't show you the milestone rewards, but the second half of this promo, at the end of it, week, I believe 14, I could be wrong there, don't quote me, go look back at the milestone rewards, you're going to get another one, and it's probably going to be in the 94, 95, maybe even 96 overall range, and obviously 93s will be in there as well. So here they are. Let's go through a bunch of them. I don't really have any rhyme or reason how I'm going to go through this. I guess I'll go by the cards one by one and say yes or no. So here we go. Reggie Bush is definitely a good card. Keep in mind, with all of these, you'll have to check the auction house. They don't come with their power-ups. So you're either going to have to pay a hefty price for some of these power-ups, like DRC, which we'll take a look at, or maybe you have it in your binder. Maybe you thought about this in advance. It was something I mentioned in streams a couple times and never took my own advice. Back when DRC was like 50, 60k, last I checked, he was in the hundreds, like 150. So you could really have invested in some of these. Let's get back to him. All right, Reggie Bush, I still think is one of the top backs in the game right now. He's just really fast. He's a great route runner. He can get backfield master. Everybody plays man zone now, or man coverage now. He has that Texas route. He's got the table route. He can get open. He's great catching the ball. He's fast after catching the ball. And he's a pretty good runner. I still think, and I know people will call me crazy, including you, Roboto, I still think that this card is better than Barry Sanders. I sold my Barry Sanders for this Reggie Bush, and I haven't doubted it. I haven't looked back. I haven't regretted it one single bit. So Reggie Bush, definitely a W if you need a running back. Tyrone Calico was like that guy, tall, fast, deep route running threshold. You needed a little bit of go deep there. I think this card is it's like out of its, I wouldn't go with this card. There's just better wide receivers out there now. You got to chase Claypool. You have to think Randy Moss is coming soon. T.O. We got Tyler Lockett. A couple of these guys are a lot shorter, right? But Tyler Lockett, Scary Terry McLaurin, Harold Carmichael, there's just been so many good wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, that have come out. I would pass on this card. It just feels a little bit outdated. Jimmy Graham, pretty good card, but I just think there's better options. You have to think Kittle's getting an upgrade soon. This card, I still don't think, because he doesn't meet that medium route rush, mid route running threshold. I would still say Jermichael Finley's better this card. You got Shannon Sharp, you got Darren Waller. I would pass on Jimmy Graham. Walter Jones, and I'm probably going to say this for most of the offensive tackles, there's too many good cards in this pack to spend it on an offensive tackle. Reggie White, same thing. I just wouldn't do it, guys, if I were you. Some of you guys might be running theme teams, and these cards might be good for your theme team, so you can keep that in mind. But for the most part, I'm passing on these two. Derek Brooks, probably one of the worst cards we've seen out of all of them. Hard pass. Namdi, really good at man-to-man coverage. Great press. He's physical. He's tall. Pretty fast. There's just there's other cornerbacks out that you can choose from in this pack that are better than him. So again, theme team needs, you might want to go with him, but there's better cornerbacks if that's the position you're looking for. Dawkins, I hate to say it, he's on my team. Bit of an underwhelming card this year. I would probably skip on this one as well. Vincent Jackson, too slow. Don't do it. Not worth it. Ryan Shazier, pretty good. This card might be worth a look. He's fast. He's a good user. He's tall. But, you got Sam Mills, and Sam Mills is really fast with really good zone coverage. It seems like a lot of middle linebackers in this game are a bit irrelevant. I know Sam Mills is a lot shorter, but I still think just linebackers just aren't that good in this year's game. You can put 4 safeties on the field and be just as competitive without a linebacker. I do it. And speaking of not needing linebackers, here's a good one. Taylor Mays, he is basically like a linebacker that plays safety, so you can put him in the box. He's tall. One thing I know about this card is that he doesn't force a ton of fumbles, and after the latest patch, maybe he does, but he gets big hit animations just from the CPU all the time. Love this card in the run stuffing. He sometimes is lost in zone coverage, but he's tall, he's fast, he makes plays via AI. I like this card a lot. Brett Favre, haven't used this one, but I know this is a very, very popular quarterback. The only problem is there's another quarterback that's later on in this pack that I think more people would prefer. But if you're looking for a quarterback who gets pretty good abilities, Brett Favre is your guy. Steve Hutchinson, we're not going to waste our pick here on a guard or a tackle or anybody on the offensive line. DRC, I think, hands down, is probably the favorite, right? The card that almost everybody is going to be picking. The problem is his power-up is really, really expensive, so you're going to have to pay for it if you do want to power him up. But he meets a ton of theme teams. He's played for like half of the NFL. I'm being, obviously I'm joking there, but he really has. He's played like 5 or 6 teams. Great man coverage. He's fast. He's tall. It's a good card. Probably who I'm picking on No Money Spent to help my secondary. Vernon Davis, another one. Fast, really fast. Route running, not that great. I just wouldn't waste my pick here. Patrick Willis kind of goes back to the Ryan Shazier argument. You could get a safety that plays better linebacker there. But Patrick Willis, not bad. Another fast linebacker, really good in run support. Pretty good user. I'm not going to leave him out there in zones to try to stop, crossing routes and whatnot. Better options. Antonio Cromartie, probably the second best corner. I would probably rank DRC number 1, Namdi over here number 2, and then number 3 is Antonio Cromartie. I think he's a notch not as good as DRC. That was terrible English. But DRC's better than Cromartie is what I'm saying. Still a really good card. Fast, tall, good man coverage. Once again, if you're playing that meta defense, definitely worth taking a look. If you're rocking a theme team, Chargers, and I think he played for the Jets as well. Definitely worth a look. LT, really, really good card. My only thing, and this could be more of a personal problem, we talked about Reggie Bush earlier. LT gets Backfield Master, which gives him additional hot routes, but it takes 2 ability points, whereas Reggie Bush, it only takes 1. So LT could be the better runner, probably is the better runner, but Reggie Bush gives you that kind of dual threat with the passing and the catching and the running, and the ability slot is really helpful. I think LT's a good catcher as well. If you're not rocking abilities on your running back, go with LT over Reggie Bush, but if you want Backfield Master, Reggie Bush is the better option. Orlando Pace, offensive lineman, we're going to pass there. Javon Curse, we're just going to pass on this one. This is a card you might want to take a look at. Dante Culpepper, probably the best quarterback in the game right now. It's got to be between him and Montana. They both do certain things well, but Dante Culpepper, he's got that, that strong arm. He can throw the ball down the field. Throwing power is really good. And believe it or not, I mean, you probably do believe it, he's a big quarterback. He's kind of tough to tackle. Like, I've had a couple times where he's just swallowed tackles playing against him. So this is probably the best quarterback out of all of them. Moving along, Julio Jones, really, really good wide receiver. This is why I said pass on Calico. Like, if you got to pick a wide receiver out of this group, go with Julio over Calico. He's definitely the best wide receiver out of all of these 50 cards that we have available so far. Albert Haynesworth, I'm just not going to use my pick on a 92 overall defensive tackle. Not that it's a bad card, but there's just better options out there. So I'm passing on Haynesworth. And then we got the 3 cards that came out. Here's the problem. We got a tight end who's kind of slow, and just there's better options out there. I mentioned it earlier. We got Waller. We probably got a Kittle coming. Finley, Shannon Sharp. There's one other tight end I think I'm missing. But, this is why I think EA made this a fantasy pack, which I'm happy about. But the 93s that came out this week, I think I don't want to say tanked them, but they didn't put out the best options because they knew this is going to be one of the free cards. Imagine if they put out a Moss, a T.O., like a card we really, really wanted. Imagine if they did that and then everybody was getting a free Moss right now. So they strategically did that, and that's understandable. If anything, they should have ended it last week with the end of 92s and then gave us a free card going forward. But Antonio Gates is a pass. We're not going to use our free pick, even though he's a 93. Not going to use our free pick on a offensive lineman. And then Anthony Barr is like a super MUT legend, but linebackers just don't matter in MUT 21 this year. So this card, he just feels irrelevant. He's not going to be a good user as he been in years past. So all 3 of these 93s are kind of L. So if I had to go through it all, right, and rank like the top 5, I'm going Julio's one of them. Culpepper's probably one of them. That's 2. Antonio Cromartie's 3, not in any order. DRC's 4. Brett Favre, probably 5. Taylor May's 6. Nnamdi 7. And Reggie Bush 8. There's your top 8 right there. Depending on what positions you need filled on your roster, that's going to be up to you. But we're going to go ahead and take our pick as DRC. Not going to power him up because I ain't about to go out there and pay hundreds of thousands of coins for a power up and then have to spend more coins to power him up. It becomes too expensive. You basically take a free card and he doesn't feel free anymore. So I'm just going to run him like this stock, throw some regular, chems and abilities on him, and hopefully he balls out for me. Let me know who you picked down below in the comments section for your free 50 player. And then one other thing you can do, I'll probably be picking DRC on my main team as well, is selling the DRC that I paid coins with and then using that nat. If you're going to do something like that, pick a guy that's probably on your theme team, a guy that you think is going to be around most of the year. Like, even if DRC is my 5th cornerback, he's probably going to be on my team for a while because he can get Eagles chem. So kind of think of an investment that way. A guy that you know is going to be there all year round. Maybe that'll help you make your decision as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.